All right, about to go into the gym. It's been a long day at work. I went and hit the little Planet Fitness this morning. I did like 25, 30 minutes, all of that, just to kind of get my steps in. I do a incline treadmill at like 3 miles per hour at 8 degrees incline. And basically I do that every morning just to kind of like wake my body up, and kind of like burn some calories, get my steps in without, fatiguing myself. Especially since I've been cutting since, I want to say, I've been cutting hard for the last 3 weeks, but I've been cutting honestly since October. That was like my first time really trying to cut down weight. And I cut from October all the way to like December 25th, give or take a few days. And I kind of didn't know what I was doing at all. And since then, I've been kind of like learning and understanding the fundamentals, not just like, chicken and rice, it's like, there's so much more to it. Like different cuts of the chicken, some taste better, but might have more fat in them. You know what I mean? Like the chicken thigh versus the chicken breast. Some might have more protein in them, and then also like rice, just the different grains of rice, or whether or not, you want to do rice or rice cakes or oats. And I've had to like understand basically a little bit about the difference between like slow digesting carbs and fast digesting carbs, and fast digesting protein like protein shakes versus, whole food protein like steak, chicken, that kind of thing. And it's definitely been a lot of ups and downs, but I've been playing with it. And then, so anyways, long story short, I got kind of burned out a little bit and I got sick right after Christmas. So I kind of like ate whatever I felt like eating just to kind of get better. And I had like the flu, and then it was, kind of just like the nasty part of winter here in South Carolina. But yeah, long story short, January was just kind of junk. February, I started getting a little more serious. And then basically March, April, and May, I've been more zoned in. And now we're getting close to like mid-May. And I think this is going to be the last week I cut. I feel pretty good. I mean, I'm not as defined as I want to be, but I'm tired of being small. And I say small, and it's like, because in my mind, I got body dysphoria. It's like I see myself as like a smaller person, but it's like, my strength's still there for the most part. It's just I can tell that I'm almost plateauing with where I am at. And I mean, I've done body scans and all that with the same body scan machine to see a trend. Because I mean, body scan machines, you really can't trust them exactly. Because the one here at this gym had me at like 25% body fat one time. And then I literally went to one that was at like a doctor's office that was more like legit, like a health and wellness doctor. And I use that machine now, and the trend on that machine is way better. And you could tell like that it's a lot more accurate. It's not just like a super basic one. It's more, it's an in-body scan machine. But anyways, last time I did it, I was like right at 11 to 10% body fat, and 11 to 10% looks pretty good on me. And so basically that was about 3 weeks ago. And since then, I feel like I've started really shredding out even more. So like I said, at the end of this week, unless I see like a crazy amount of difference. I'm pretty much happy with how much I've cut. And I mean, I have abs showing, I'm very vascular. You can see some striations in certain muscles and all, but it's like, I'm ready to get back in the kitchen and start, cooking again. You know what I mean? And so basically, yeah, I'm gonna start like lean bulking, and then if I don't really put on a lot of fat in that little bit of lean bulking, from transitioning from cutting sort of to this heavy cut I've been doing, I'm gonna then transition into a lean bulk, which is gonna put me just a little bit above maintenance. And then from there, I might go into a heavy bulk, just depending. I don't want to gain too much fat, so, that's the problem. But the whole reason I wanted to cut so much before I started bulking is because, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's definitely like guys in the gym that can lift a lot and they're big, but they're also overweight and out of shape. You know what I mean? And I want to have more of that bodybuilder style shape. And the only way I'm going to get that, from what I've been doing, is I want to lean down to where I have, a way to sort of keep the abs. I might look soft, but, with a good pump, I should still see some abs. And whereas if I just went and did like I did in the beginning and just bulk, back when I first started working out a few years ago, since I've been working out a long time ago, but since then I, had kids and everything else, so I quit working out basically, and then I finally jumped back in it about 3 years ago. And since then, I've just been like, the first year is like Planet Fitness, in my mind it's just lift whatever I could possibly lift, and I wasn't doing form right, I wasn't eating right, and I got stronger, yes. I got a little bit bigger, yes, but I was also what you would call like skinny fat. Like I looked like I could pick up some weight, but I didn't really have like an athletic build. And, I was honestly embarrassed to take off my shirt. And so now it's kind of like, that's not it at all. Like I'm 100% like, I'm happy with how I look, without a shirt on. I could go to the beach right now and be thrilled. My legs, I want my legs to grow, but I'm also 6'1", 6'2", so it's like my leg muscles are so much longer. So, if I was 5 foot, dude, I'd probably have huge legs. I can push weight. It's just my legs are so long. And especially lately, since I've been cutting, like I'm seeing all the definition in my legs, and it's cool, but it's like I'm ready to get bigger legs. I'm ready to get bigger arms again. I'm ready for even my abs to be more, filled with like, just I want my muscles to get glycogen again and actually be really filled up. And I want to see how I look with this lean bulk. And if I like it, I might even go to a heavier bulk. And just the goal is basically for the next 2 weeks after I finish this cut, whether I finish it this week or next week, the goal is basically then to lean bulk, maybe for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and see how that goes. If I like it, I could maybe stay there, or I could transition into a heavy bulk for like 6 weeks and then cut for 4 weeks and see where I'm at. Keep playing the game. It's all big game. And these are just like basic numbers that I've kind of like seen, like average amount of time a cut would be, average amount of time a bulk will be, that kind of thing. I'm still kind of playing around with these numbers, and it's like, I'm so new at it that it's like I'm learning too. So as you see my progression, I hope you guys can progress too. Let's get it. doing rows, and then doing chest supported rows, 3 sets of 12 to 15. Do a weight that's manageable. You know, it gets kind of hard around 10 to 15. Anyways, let's get it. I like to keep my chest, you know, on it, but keep my chest up, my back, you know, straight, and then pull and tuck my elbows like into my side as I get it. Let's go. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hold. Let it. It's my final set. I did 3 sets of that. So on to the next movement. Second set, doing 3 sets of 15 at like a moderate weight. Basically the goal is get the full range of motion, pull and pretty much try to touch my chest, and not to like lean back or ego lift it because we're gonna cut. So I get right here, kind of twist my arms in, and then pull down. 3, 4, 6, seated rows, cable rows, 3 sets of 12 to 15. Basically just lean forward and then drive elbows back, and don't go like keep your back straight. Don't go like lean back and do it, because if you're leaning back, you're cheating. And do what you can control. 2, 3, 4, lap pullovers. Basically just let it go as far back as you can and pull it just above your face, like where it's almost like hovering over your face, I guess. Probably make sure your headphones are right too. Let it go all the way back. Full stretch and pull right there. Little stretch and pull. 2, 3. Up. 6. Down. 7. back extensions. Put my feet on whichever one feels more comfortable. Keep my butt planted and my back touching the piece. And then basically I just push back and I control the whole thing. I'm not trying to like swing it or nothing. You know, really just super controlled. Trying to feel it deep in my lower back. Second set of hanging knee ups. Basically what I like to do is try to like not only pull my knees up, but also like roll my hips to where like I feel like my knees are trying to like go into my core. And I also try not to rock if I can. It didn't take a lot of those to really feel it. Working out. Yeah. I did another cut day workout, man. Basically, take that number that you had in your head that you used to lift, go about 70%, maybe a little less depending on how many carbs you actually really ate throughout the day. And that's pretty much the number, like the weight you're going to be using from how I feel. And I've been doing about 3 sets of 12 to 15. I try to, most time I do like a progressive overload, you know, like if I start at like a 25-pound dumbbell, I'm going to work up to a 30-pound dumbbell and then a 35-pound dumbbell, you know, that'll be my 3 sets, you know. And sometimes if I need a drop set, I'll add a drop set, you know, like I'll hit that number, that 12 to 15, or I'll hit, you know, whatever I'm doing. And then I'll drop down and do like, you know, as many reps as possible on the last set with a lighter weight. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm ready for this cut to be over. This is the final week, and cuts suck. They do. It's like, I mean, the other day I literally bought a Caesar salad bag kit and just ate the Caesar salad out of it. So basically just ate romaine lettuce, no dressing, no nothing. And I mean, shoot, salt and pepper, bro. Oh my goodness. I salt and pepper everything. But like, I just miss, you know, a sandwich with mayonnaise on it. Not, oh, you want a chicken sandwich? Okay. Go get a chicken sandwich. It's gotta be grilled. Can't be fried. And then on top of that, you know, you also, you're not going to get, you know, you don't want to get any mayonnaise or nothing on it. That just sucks.
But plus, bro, I'm telling you right now, I look back at like the steps I was doing last year. It was like, I can tell you why my cut wasn't working when I tried to cut the first time. Dude, I'll go do like cardio. I might go do 30 minutes heavy cardio, but then I was only tracking like what 5,000, 6,000 steps all day. So like I might do that heavy cardio in the morning and then I wouldn't lift nothing. Or I mean, I wouldn't do like I wouldn't walk if I didn't have to at work between, doing my jobs. So I'd be sitting anytime I could, that kind of stuff, which sucked. That, plus last like year when I was trying to cut, one thing I messed up on was food timing. Food timing is crazy important. Like, I eat every 2 to 3 hours and I do it really strategic, like protein first, and when I say eat, I mean like I might eat 1 or 2 of those meals, maybe 3. Like I might eat actually at breakfast or I might eat at lunch or lunch and dinner. I know I eat, but I might actually eat a meal at breakfast. But most time, like I do a lot of like meals where I wouldn't even really call it a meal. It's like 1 to 2 rice cakes, a 30-gram protein shake, and I do things like that to kind of, kill the hunger, but also give me enough carbs to function. And I mean, I know everybody says like, oh, you need to look and find out your maintenance calories and all that. You also need to pay attention to the activity you do. Because if you work a job where you're walking 20,000 steps a day or a job where you're lifting stuff all day, like let's say you work at like, I don't know, let's say you work at the grocery store and you are like one of those guys that like unloads the truck, like you unload all those pallets. Okay. That's a lot of like, that's almost like doing like suicides on a basketball court. You're taking it out of this crate or whatever, and then you're putting it wherever, and then you're going back and doing it over and over and over and over, and you're bending down, you're holding things for a while. You got to think of all that too, because all that, goes into your calorie intake, and it can make or break you when it comes to like, cutting. Cause yeah, you can, you can cut and just do the basic, maintenance calories minus whatever, and then go from there. But I'm telling you, if you work a job that is demanding, like a physical labor job, you're going to run into problems where you're getting brain fogged because you ain't got no calories you ain't got no carbs in your system, and you're trying to just run off of that, like the protein alone or the little bit of carbs you get right before a workout. And dude, it'll get to where you feel stupid at times. And it's because you need carbs for certain situations, just like you need protein for certain situations, and you need fats. All that stuff plays big roles. And it's like, it took me a while to kind of understand it. And I still feel like there's so much more to it than I even understand right now. So like, my basic thing though is I kind of know where I need to be every day. And then I just kind of, I basically use that number. But then if I need to add some or take some away, I do. Like if it's like a recovery day, I'm not going to need my pre-workout carbs because I'm not going to work out. I might, stretch my timing out a little bit different too, because There might be times where I'm not actually super hungry. So why would I, add somewhere on those days where I don't need to? But it's literally a method to the madness.